This is my Harbor Freight 30-inch mechanics tool cart. I bought this a year ago for about 200 bucks after a coupon. I think it retailed for like $225 or something like that. Currently, as of this recording, they are $289.99. Make of that what you will. Anyway, this is my 1-year review of this tool cart. So it's actually been about a year and a half since I purchased this thing and started using it. And I gotta say, in the time that I've owned this thing, I love it. This thing has done me really well. It's held up nicely. There are a few little wear and tear things I want to show you, but overall, I couldn't be happier with it. It does exactly what I need it to do, and I can't say that I use it every single day, but it gets used frequently, and currently right now it's holding quite a bit of tools. And we'll take a little closer look at it, but I have stated before, and again, this is just my opinion, this is one of the better toolboxes for the money that you can get out there on the market, and still at $289, it's a pretty decent deal. All right, so let's take a little closer look at the wear and tear. One of the first things that I noticed is this little corner chipped. You know, that's just where it's been contacting the lid. So to put maybe a little rubber or foam pad right there would probably be beneficial so that this doesn't happen on the corners. There are foam liners in the bottom of these, and I must say I really don't like them. I'm actually going to upgrade my tool cart and put actual rubber liners in here, but it has held up okay. But the drawer that I use the most is this top wide drawer, and you can see the foam doesn't stay put. It just curls up and it's gotten ripped. I knew that when I bought it, that I'd have to upgrade the liners on this thing. I do have a little bit of paint chip here and there where I've accidentally bumped into it. I knocked into it with the jack or something right there, chipped the paint off of that. I don't necessarily beat on this thing. This is the drawer with the most weight in it, or it did. I took some tools out because I did notice the drawer was kind of sagging just a little bit. I think I had just a little bit too much weight in here, and I had to kind of lift the drawer a little bit to push it in and out to get some of that weight off of the sliders. So I've got my spray can tray here, and it's just, you know, just oily, just getting some gumminess down at the bottom of it because of my lubricants and whatever. Other than that, it's held up fine. It's just getting dirty. You know, this paint is nice if you don't really bang on it with something and chip it. It seems to be holding up fine from the chemicals that I've got in that tray over there. Down here I've got my welder and a couple of boxes with some, you know, decently heavy tools in it, so this bottom cubby comes in handy for those things. I do have the casters opposite the handle, so it's kind of like a shopping cart right now. It's supposed to be on the same side as the handle. So what I'm going to do today is take out all my tools. I'm going to install the rubber liners, kind of upgrade that, and then I'm going to move the casters to the back handle side where it's supposed to go. So I want to do those two things, one to modify and two to put it where it's supposed to go, and enjoy this tool cart hopefully for years to come. But so far so good. I'm really loving the US General cart. So I'm going to remove all the tools from this and show you just how much this thing's carrying for me. So you can see that it does hold quite a bit of tools, and I'm sure if I had more organization type methods, I could probably fit more in there. Let me just show you these foam pads. This top shelf, I don't move a whole lot, so it has stayed quite nicely. However, the drawers that I use mostly are getting tore up and aren't sitting very flat, getting wrinkled. But this one is getting pretty chewed up. And then this bottom one's gotten chewed up too. This bottom one it's holding up nicely because I don't get stuff in and out of there very often. Okay, so the plan is to reline these drawers with some actual rubber mat. And if I have any left over, I'm gonna cover the top part as well, so I can use that as kind of like a workstation or a staging station when I got my parts and stuff laid out. So, all right, let me show you the rubber mat that I bought. All right, it is this stuff here, Resilia 18 by 25 feet. I think that's the product number there. I honestly don't recall how much I paid for it. I want to say it was about 45 to 55 bucks, I think, for this roll, which I guess isn't that bad. I'm sure it's gone up since I bought it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling some of these liners out. All right, so my plan is to use these foam pads as a template, cut this mat. It's sort of smooth on the underside. I'm gonna take some sandpaper and scuff the inside of the toolbox. And then I've got some Super 77 adhesive, and I'll spray that down, spray the back of this, and tack it into place so that way it doesn't shift whenever I'm moving tools around in there. So that's the plan. Pretty dirty. Take a closer look at this mat. It's not very thick, very stretchy, easy to tear. So this rubber lining is maybe a 1/2 inch shorter than the actual mat, which, oh well, I wish it was the same length, but what are you gonna do? This stuff seems to lay pretty flat. Probably won't need a whole lot of glue. Here we go. I wonder if I could use scissors, or do I have to use a razor blade? I know I got a pair of scissors around here somewhere. Thought I did. Well, ain't that a kick in the head. I do have razor blades, but I found my snips, so let's see how this works. Yeah, that works just fine. We'll roll with this. See how well that fits. Very nice, very, very nice. There's a little gap back there. If I'm getting real anal about it, I'll probably cut a little strip to fill in the gap. But I'm just not feeling it right now. All right, so I got everything cut. So what I need to do next is go through and clean out the drawers, but then scuff them lightly so that the glue has some roughness to like adhere to, and then we'll glue these in. Sweet. Okay, I got all the drawers scuffed. Looking good. I'm gonna clean them out with a little bit of alcohol, get the dust, sanding residue out of there. And we're gonna go ahead and get the spray glue out and start installing. All right, there it is. It turned out pretty nice. I may put a little more glue underneath them just to tack down the ends that are kind of curling just a little bit. No big deal, but there is enough glue there that these liners are not going to fold or slide. This very bottom cubby right here, I didn't put any glue down there just so I can reach these bolts, just in case I need to replace the casters at some point in the future. Speaking of which, I'm going to swap these around. Okay, I've got all the tools back into my cart, and before I tackle this top lid, I want to show you what I picked up at Harbor Freight. I got the folding side tray for the 5-drawer mechanics cart. I'd been wanting this for a little while. I was working on a lawnmower and I had all this stuff in my hand. I ended up just putting it on the ground or setting it on top of the parts Camaro, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to buy the stinking tray. I need it, okay? I need it. Dan, you need it. So I picked this up. It was $29.99. I'm sure it was much cheaper a few months ago. Now I'm paying for it because I didn't buy it sooner. But that's the way things go these days. Everything's getting pricey. Let's take a closer look at this thing. Okay, it says it adds over 300 square inches of workspace. It's the same corrosion resistant powder coat finish as the Toolbox. Holds up to 35 pounds of tools and supplies. Like I said, I was working on a lawnmower. I had some spare parts and stuff in my hands. I didn't know where to put it. I don't know where to put my hands, so this would have been nice. It does fold away, so I can still store this in my garage without having any really issue. And it's great, one-handed operation, so that's good for guys out there that only have one hand. I guess if you're left-handed, it's got to be on the other side. The box on this looks like it's been through a rodeo. There's the owner's manual. There's not a whole lot to it. The tray does come with its own hardware, by the way. So basically, we're just going to undo the hardware on the inside of the cart, slide this thing in place, bolt it back down. Easy peasy. Got these 4 nuts we need to loosen off these bolts. If I haven't mentioned this 1,000 times yet, I'll mention it again. Ratcheting box end wrenches are just, they're great. They're such time savers. Say, why didn't I buy these sooner? It's because I'm an idiot. Okay, so this is the mounting surface with the 4 holes for the bolts. So it'll sit there like that. And then we'll fish these bolts in here. I don't know, it could just be the lighting or my eyes, but this blue seems a little bit lighter colored than the box, which I find that to be a little bit annoying, but what are you gonna do? All right, well that's nice. Okay, let's see how it folds and unfolds. Beautimous. Now just lift it up, set this on the lip of the base, and there you go. So I'll scuff this down, cut a piece of that liner to that, do the same for here, and that way I'll have 2 decent workspaces if I need it. Don't know that I'll ever need it for the lid, but it'd be nice to have it on there because you never know. All right, laid down very nicely. I've got all my tools laying on it so that it'll be nice and flat when the glue dries. So I'm gonna touch up a few areas where it looks like the mat isn't sticking very well because I didn't spray enough glue in those spots. So I'm gonna do all that, wait a few days, let the stuff cure, and we'll give it one final look. I don't know how well this is going to stick over time with the hot and the cold, being out in the sun. I don't know if this stuff's going to expand and contract and warp. I don't know. Time will tell. I've already seen some spots where it wants to kind of pucker just a little bit while I'm out here in the sun. So I could be battling this for a while. So anyway, for about 70 bucks, the rubber liners were definitely a must-have upgrade. This $30 tool tray over here is going to come in handy for me, so I'm glad I purchased that. One other thing that I could do to modify this thing is on the underside of this, you've got these plungers that go down whenever the lid shuts. And what that's doing is it's actually pushing a rod behind all the drawers, and there's a little hook, and it hooks the drawer to the back of the toolbox. I don't know how much I'm going to use this top surface because I need to get into my drawers. And with the lid shut, you can't get into them. They're locked because that plunger's down and it's hooked the back of the drawer. However, if I want to remove that scenario, all I got to do is remove the plastic caps off the top of these plungers, get a cutting wheel and just cut the metal off, or remove the tabs on the bars that are hooking into the back of the drawer, or put something in the gap of the drawer so that the hook can't get down in there. But when you do that sort of thing, then you can't shut the drawer all the way. So cutting the plunger off at the top is the best way to do it, to keep your drawers shut all the way with the latch in the front secured. I don't know that I'll ever cut this off like that because I move this box in and out of my garage a lot. I really don't want my drawers accidentally just flying open and dumping my tools. So this folding tool tray over here is going to get most of the use, and the top lid is going to be probably used sparingly. All right, so that is the upgrade to my tool cart. Swapped over the casters to where they're supposed to be the first time. Installed those nice heavy-duty rubber liners into the trays, into my top work surfaces. I think this is upgraded quite nicely. Let me know in the comment section below, what have you done to your toolbox to upgrade it or modify it? I'd like to hear some suggestions. Maybe give me some ideas for how to better utilize this piece of equipment. Well, that's going to wrap it up. I want to thank you for watching. God bless. Be sure to hit that like switch on your way out. See you next time.